4. Today we're going to be talking about changing customary units. So basically we're talking about units of measurement, and we're going from different measurements. So from bigger measurements to smaller measurements and vice versa. So you would need to go ahead and copy these down, the different units for length, weight, and capacity. Now let's go ahead and look at kind of an example of how this will be used. So over here you'll see that you'll be given an example of something like 36 yards equals how many feet. So that means that we need to go ahead and look up at our chart and look for yards and feet. So I'm looking over here and I see 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and use that ratio. Now this ratio it needs to be written as a fraction. So it could be either 1 yard over 3 feet or 3 feet over 1 yard, depending on your specific situation. Now in this situation, we have 3 yards over here, or 36 yards. Then we're going to multiply it by 3 feet over 1 yard. Now the reason why we did 3 over 1 this time is because we want to cancel out our yards. So basically, if we're going from yards to feet, we don't want to have yards in our answer anymore, so we have to find a way to cancel it out. So by putting 3 feet over 1 yard, you can cancel out those yards. So you only can cancel from the numerator to an opposite denominator. So if there was yards here, they wouldn't be able to cancel out. So it has to be in the denominator to cancel out, cross cancel. Then you'd go ahead and multiply across and simplify, and you'll figure out that 36 yards is equal to 108 feet. Now in this specific example, we have 3/4 tons equals how many pounds? So that means I'm going to be looking for tons and pounds. So I'm going to go over to my chart, look for tons and pounds, and you'll see that 1 ton is equal to 2,000 pounds. So this ratio can either be written as 1 ton over 2,000 pounds or 2,000 pounds over 1 ton, depending on your specific situation. Now in this situation, we have 3/4 tons, and tons is in the numerator, so that means we will want to write 2,000 pounds in the numerator and 1 ton in the denominator. And we will go ahead and multiply those together, cross-cancel our units, and multiply across and simplify. And we'll figure out that 3/4 of a ton is equivalent or equal to 1,500 pounds. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some more examples from scratch. Let's go ahead and look at our first example. We have 1.5 quarts is equal to how many pints? So we know we're going to be looking for quarts and pints. So you will be able to use your chart of information to be able to figure out how many pints are in a quart or vice versa. So we will find out that if I set up my equation as 1 1/2 quarts is equal to, is multiplied by, we have 2 pints are in 1 quart. So that means we are going to have 2 pints in our numerator over 1 quart. Now, how did I know it's 2 pints over 1 quart? It's because I know that my quarts need to be in the denominator, so I can cancel them out, so I'll be left with pints. So my quarts are going to cancel. So now we're going to go ahead and multiply across. So I can do, put this into an improper fraction. So 2 times 1 gives you 2 plus 1 gives you 3. So we have 3 halves times 2 over 1, and that's going to give us 6 over 2, which simplifies down to 3. So we have 3 pints. So 1.5 quarts is equal to 3 pints. Alright, let's go ahead and look at example number 2. We have 3 pounds equals how many ounces? So you'll look at your chart and figure out that there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. So if we're going to go from 3 pounds, we're going to have to multiply by, we know that the pounds need to be in the bottom and the ounces need to be in the top so that we can cross cancel. So if there are 16 ounces in 1 pound, so let's go ahead and now multiply across and simplify. So 3 times 16, so you do 16 times 3, you're going to get 18, so you're going to get 48. So you're going to have 48 ounces. Okay, let's go ahead and look at example number 3. We have 2,640 feet is equal to how many miles? So we're going to have to look on our conversion chart, and we'll figure out that there's 5,280 feet in 1 mile. So I'm going to go ahead and write 2,640 feet, and we're going to multiply it by a ratio. And we know that we want miles in the numerator, and we want feet in the denominator so that our feet will cancel out. So now in 1 mile, there is 5,280 feet. So now let's go ahead and multiply across and simplify. So this times 1 will give you 2,640 over 5,280. Now our feet are canceled out, so this is now in miles. and we'll go ahead and simplify, and we'll get that is 1/2 of a mile. So 2,640 feet is a half of a mile. Alright, let's go ahead and look at example number 4. We have 5 pints is equal to how many quarts? So you'll look at your chart and you'll figure out that there are 2 pints in 1 quart. So let's go ahead and set up our equation. We have 5 pints times, we need a ratio. Now I know that pints need to be in the bottom and quarts needs to be in the top because we want to cancel out our pints. So now how many pints are in a quart? We have 2 pints in 1 quart, so we have 2 pints over 1. So now let's go ahead and multiply across and simplify. So 5 times 1 gives you 5, and then 2 times 1 gives you 2. So we have 5 halves, or 2 1/2 quarts. So you can either write it as 5 halves of a quart or 2 1/2 quarts. Okay? Now let's go ahead and look at number 5. We have 100 ounces is equals to how many pounds? So I know I'm going to go from 100 ounces, and I also know by looking at my chart that there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. So that means I need to put my 16 ounces on the denominator so my ounces will cancel out, and 1 pound in my numerator so that I will be left with pounds. So now we'll do 100 times 1, which is going to give you 100 over 16, and then you'll go ahead and simplify. So once you simplify, you're going to get 6 1/4 pounds. So lbs. That would be your final answer, 6 1/4. Once you simplify and you change it to a mixed number. Alright, let's go ahead and look at this last example. This one is a word problem. So you're going to have to pick out your parts, figure out what you're solving for, look at your chart, and then convert it. So there's several more steps that we're going to have to do this time. So it says a swordfish can swim at a rate of 60 miles per hour. How many feet per mile is this? So basically we know that we're going to change miles to feet. So we're going to go from 60 miles per hour to how many feet per hour. So we have to know how many feet are in a mile. So there's 5,280 feet in 1 mile. So let's go ahead and set it up. So we have 60. Now this is representing the miles. So we want to know how many feet. So we're going to go ahead and change it to feet. And we need to have the miles in the denominator so that we'll be able to cancel out our miles. So we know that 5,280 feet are in 1 mile. Okay, so now let's go ahead and multiply across. So once you multiply across, you multiply 60 times 5,280, you're going to get 316,800 feet. So that will be your final answer. Alright, now if you have any questions, please make sure to rewind the video, watch it again. You can just watch certain portions that you need to see redone. You can also go into your book. There are some examples that have already been done for you. You can go ahead and look at those and try to figure it out. And as always, please bring your questions to me tomorrow and I'll be happy to answer them. Let's go ahead and do some on your own questions. Alright, you have 5 problems to do for me. Numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Look at the conversions and go ahead and convert them from yards to feet, cups to fluid ounces, quarts to gallons, inches to feet. And the last one, it says the fastest human has run about 27 miles per hour. How many miles per minute is this? So basically you're changing hours to minutes, so think of how many minutes are an hour, and go ahead and solve those problems. We'll see what you get tomorrow. Good luck.